All right, good morning, folks. It's 3:30 in the morning, Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025. My name is Tim Ealer, meteorologist here. Pretty impressive storm still. Gabrielle, uh, as of the 2 a.m. advisory, I'll bring this back up. I apologize for the on the fly thing here. 140 mile per hour minimum pressure and 148 millibars. Pretty impressive storm. Intensified more than all the models predicted. And, this can happen with smaller systems like this. It can rapidly intensify. You see the clear eye here. Ring of convection surrounding it. Epic pen is, let's see if it's working. You can see maybe on the western edge here, you see how this area is larger than this area over here. Likely seeing a little bit of shear pushing it this way. And we can see at the mid levels what I'm talking about. There's much more drier air to the west of it than there is to the east. So that tells me there's some drier air starting to impinge on the circulation. You can see here a little bit better as well. And if we go to the more zoomed out of the tropical Atlantic, still quite impressive here. This storm, right? Gabrielle. We have our other disturbance here, which is forecast to, well, has an 80% chance of developing right now. And we also have this system here, which is at 50% in the next 7 days. Going back to Gabrielle, here's the key messages for Gabrielle. Likely to just be impacting surf and swells in Bermuda and the eastern U.S., the eastern shores of the continental U.S., with possible impacts on Bermuda, the Azores, towards the end of the week. This is the rip current risk today along the East Coast. Of course, Bermuda has that as well. Tomorrow, rip current risk is about the same. Composite here. This is the surface wind field estimate. Obviously, you can see small radius of hurricane force winds, larger tropical storm force winds here, more on the eastern than western side. And this is the a loop of the tropical storm force winds that moves towards the Azores. It's still possible that this may impact the Azores, but it really depends on how strong it's going to be. Eventual track. This is 50 knot wind speed probabilities, 58 miles per hour again. And this is the hurricane force wind speed probabilities as it moves towards the Azores. And this is the warning cone, experimental cone with warnings, watches. Obviously, there's no warning or watches out right now, but you can see where the cone of uncertainty moves it near the Azores and eventually into Europe. Still, maybe a hurricane as it reaches the Azores. So that's all about Gabriel. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it today. I'm going to move on to talking about the two systems in the tropical Atlantic, the Western Atlantic, really. And we'll start that off by looking at the latest 2 a.m. update. Tropical depression likely to form Thursday or Friday, according to National Hurricane Center. 80% chance of development here. Okay. And marginally conducive conditions in the short term. Systems forecast to slow down and then could potentially develop later this weekend. Right now, the 50% chance. We're quickly Eastern Pacific. We have NORD out here. No other systems expected to develop in the short 2 to 7 day period. Next, I'm just going to go on to the discussion about these two systems here and the potential, where they'll go, and development, etc. Next. Okay, so I've been pouring over the model data for these two systems here, and there still remains a lot of uncertainty in the long term. What's going to happen with these two systems and how they're going to interact? Okay, so keep in mind, further out we go, the more uncertain tracks and intensities and where stuff will be. Um, Actually, I felt like yesterday there's a little more clarity than there is today because models are just all over the place. I'm going to do my best to make this a little bit clearer, but again, in the long term, it's really still quite uncertain what's going to happen here. So this this is the Google DeepMind uh, ensemble, okay, and this is initializing Friday the 26th. You see, once I initialize some lows over here and more support to the system to the east, right? And this is the latest run. So these are just ensemble members, one depicting one member showing low pressure, right? So total of how many members here. I really don't know how many members this model uses, but the more that are in the same location, the more confidence you have something's going to develop, okay? Is moving through time. You see, as we get till next Monday and next Tuesday, um, the tracks and different systems here really get kind of all mixed together. But you see, there is some support from the Google DeepMind here with some of these lows, although pretty weak, moving into um, the southeast coast around the first day in October. But you can see it. Some models have lows. This model has lows all over the place, and one to the west, to the east, excuse me, looks like it has more support, but also keeps it around Bermuda. So uh, I think I'm not going to speculate on the operational runs just yet because of so much uncertainty right now. Uh, I think I'm just going to stick with the ensembles until we get more clarity about where these form and the overall pattern that emerges. Um, because really, let's just look at this again. This is about a week out, potential impact. So let's just sit tight. And I know it's an anxious time because it's going to be, well, I don't know. we haven't had any real bad impacts in quite a while, impacts to the continental U.S. in quite a while. So trust me, I'm aware of that, and I want to make sure y'all know to the best of my ability what I think is going to happen. But I'll also say that I don't like to hype up anything. And although as a weather forecaster, I get excited about, looking at the weather and different things, I also know they have even impacts, okay? And so just to spin up people just to get clicks and likes and stuff, I don't. I'm like my friend Mitch West, who wants to provide clarity in a confusing world where social media is impacting you directly all day, every day. So I hope you all understand that, and that um, I'm not going to change the way I do things here. And if you want to listen to the hype, then that's up to you. But I think it's important to be as level headed as possible and stick with the facts. And the facts are we just don't know what's going to happen yet. Um, and that's one model, okay? This is another. Wait a minute. This is yeah. These have two different back ends, and I'm not exactly sure. I hate to say this, but I don't know what the two differences. But they are based off the European model. And if I remember reading it correctly, the Google DeepMind had a learning period where it learned for about a year or two on past cyclones. So it definitely leans towards whatever the European model is doing. Okay. So because the European, to be honest, is the most reliable. Okay. Over, that's just the way it is. All right. So this is the DeepMind. Much more support with the FNV3 data model for a system here, much more spread apart. And this may simply be because there's more members in this, but oh, I don't I don't really like the looks of this model, but it is what it is. Has a lot of stronger members along the Florida coast, moving up in the southeast. Also, some staying in the Caribbean. Then you can see the system to the east likely to be quite strong if this model plays out. Okay, but again, this is over a week out, about a week or so. So let's wait till it forms, if it does. And this model wants to form it like if it forms over Haiti or something like that. It's going to take a while till it gets over open waters before it can really consolidate. Okay, so uh, ensemble members for the European. Okay, and we start this on the 26th, which is Friday. Quite a bit of support for both systems here developing. And you can see it takes a track, the ensemble members on the system to the west. I have quite a few members that want to take it somewhere along the southeast coast or the mid-Atlantic. Okay, so and then wants to keep this other system on to the east, further south. I think as the steering currents may end up collapsing, and then high pressure may end up building a loft here, kind of keeping it from going back out to sea right away. Lastly, let's look at the GFS starting on the 26th. The GFS is interesting because it really to the system to the east here really doesn't want to develop it, which is an outlier as far as the models go. And as I was looking at the evolution of these two systems here, the GFS seems to want to take the vorticities, the spin from both of these, and combine them into one system, and then never really gets to develop. So let's just we should have more clarity next day or so. I would say next 1 or 2 days we should know more. So I'm not gonna talk about the tropics anymore because I think that's about all I can really say about it right now with any certainty. So let's keep it at that and move on to the weather for the continental U.S. next. All right, so I spent quite a bit of time analyzing this flow right now. So what we have here is the WeatherWise app, which is becoming more. Um, they're adding features all the time to this, and it is the radar overlaid on the mid-level water vapor here, for the continental U.S. You can see the level flow this way, right? This short wave moving through the flow, a jet streak, enhancing the storms here into Kansas, and flow on the backside, some stratiform precip, maybe a few other features to the north here that are enhancing precip as well, and looks like enhanced moisture and precip along the um, Appalachian mountains today. And we have the potential tropical systems out here in the tropical Atlantic. Let's take the satellite. Oops. Let's take the satellite off. Again, you see where the most precip is ongoing. All right, so um, now we'll take this off. Let's look at the outlooks. Okay, for severe weather today. So for today, severe weather, slight risk, categorical surrounded by marginal risk here in Texas, Tennessee, etc., the surrounding areas here, with a general thunderstorm risk and the rest, and into Florida here. And a marginal risk here along the mid-Atlantic corridor. When we look at tornado probabilities, 2% surrounded by 5% tornado risk, is smaller into Arkansas, Oklahoma, Missouri. The biggest risk, of course, is wind and hail. But wind is really the main risk along the Mid-Atlantic corridor or Northeast corridor there. Hail has a hatched area here into eastern Oklahoma, into western Arkansas as part of a so 10% significant hail risk, which means hail within 2 inches in diameter within 25 miles of a point. Okay. Day 2, categorical. We have a marginal risk here in a large area along a frontal boundary, most likely tied to hail wind risk. Okay. 5% due to water loaded downdrafts. No hail risk tomorrow. Um, we don't even have, let's go to day 3 here. Day 3, that area shifts to the east. over a good portion of the southeast. And hopefully we get some rain out of this. Uh, it says a rainfall outlook. For today, we have a slight risk in the same areas: Kentucky, Mississippi River Valley, Arkansas, Missouri, surrounded by a larger marginal risk and small marginal risk on the California west coast here. Day two, that probability shift to the east here, kind of stretched out. Desert Southwest into California again. Day three, in the desert Southwest up into Arizona, Nevada, Utah, parts of California, into the Appalachians. Day four, that marginal risk shifts to the east. Again, in the desert Southwest with a slight risk to the south there. And day five, still in the desert Southwest into California, Nevada, Utah, New Mexico, parts of Texas, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and marginal risk there. Uh, as far as temperatures go, the next 6 to 10 days expected to be above normal for a good portion of the country, with the exception of the desert Southwest, maybe New Mexico, parts of Texas. Day 8 to 14, same thing. Pretty much expected to be above normal for most of the country. Then we look at precip. Precip chances for the first 6 to 10 days. Unfortunately, drier than normal for a good portion of the Northeast and parts of the northern high plains, with enhanced moisture along the desert Southwest and the Colorado into the West Coast and right along the Southeast coast. 8 to 14. For a good portion of the country, going to be normal chances or, um, less than optimal chances for precip for a good portion of the country. And then the desert Southwest and into Texas and into the Southeast may get above normal chances of precip, and along the Northwest, um, western coast of the U.S. Weeks 3 to 4 outlook. This is kind of a long way off, but the 50% chance of being above normal, 55% in the Northeast, down in the Southeast, we can only hope. And up into the northern high plains, 50% chance of being below normal. So, we'll just have to see. And we go to 1 month out. Most of the country could go either way. So I'm not going to go any further than that with that. What's driving? Well, let's go into the hazards here. These are the current hazards. Flood watch for the middle part of the country here, with severe thunderstorm watch to the west here. Dense fog advisories, some frost and freeze warnings up into the Colorado mountains and Intermountain West, and a small area of heat advisory for California. What's driving this pattern right now? This is the SPC outlook, and this is HREF, which is a combination of different models that gives a good depiction of the flow. I think it's better depicted by 500 millibar flow, the mid levels. Okay, so you can see the flow here moving down like this, and these are outlined, the severe weather threats today. I think this will change as we get. This is actually today's, right, where the 500 millibar flow is enhanced here along a boundary. Excuse me, I'm sorry. where the biggest chance for severe weather is. Okay, and we move through time here. What happens? You have that low swinging through, and you have maybe a cutoff low developing here, and a high pressure building in the western part of the U.S. And this ends on Thursday. You can see where the enhanced flow here is again um, into the Appalachians, and the flow kind of becomes more oriented south and north, with which likely brings more moisture in from the Gulf. If we can look at that, it didn't come up, but this can be kind of shown by the precipitable water values, and the little pink dots are the is convection, where the darker greens are, and really I don't even know what color that is, teal or whatever it is really high PWAT values. But anywhere you have the green, this is more precip. You see it moving to the east here with the convection. Highest precip values along the Appalachians and in the deep south here as you go through time. And that's where it stops Thursday on the 25th. See, quite dry in the western U.S. and in the Midwest and High Plains, Northern High Plains. As far as total precip goes in the next couple days, this is a 6-hour QPF, like the total precip, right, expected. You see how it swings through the south as the system swings down this way. Okay. And that's where it ends up. That's all I got for today, guys. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll keep you updated on the tropics and anything else that comes up. Have a great day.